All right, what is going on? I saw this today posted by Alex Living, this stupid but awesome window blinds button. Can I zoom in on this thing? Yeah. Just got this fun little hover effect that shows the light coming on. And it was originally done by Drawsgood on Twitter. He made it in Rive. Alex did it in Framer. So you know I've got to do it in Webflow. All right, let's have a look and see if I can ever zoom out of this thing. Okay. Let's start with div block. We'll just call it this page, and we're gonna make it 100. We'll do DVH because those are a thing now, and we can make the background black and change the default font to something like System UI. Default size, I just do this for every project. Probably don't need to do it on this project, but since the background's black, we'll make the text white. And let's see, so page, I'm just gonna make this also flex and center. And drop this in here. We don't want a div, let's make a link block. So we will drop a link block in there. And no, I want that to be a child. And that's gonna need some text. And what does it say? Button. Man, lamest button text ever. So we've got our link block now. I'm gonna add some padding. Maybe 2 EM on the left and right. And something like 1 EM on the top and bottom. Good for now. And the text, let's make this a little bigger. Bring that down. Sure. I think on the example it was kind of bold and yeah, I'll leave it like that, but we will come back to the link block and we'll remove the underline decoration and we will set the color to be white. And I think that's good for now. So the style my tactic is gonna be to like make each shade, I'm gonna make the link block relative, position relative, and then I'm gonna drop kind of each shade. I think there were 5 of them. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's gonna be like a light that's a color of the background, and the shades are just gonna scale between a Y of 1 and a Y of like 0 or 0.1. And then we've got the draw chord that's moving here. There's like a background opacity that's coming in and out, so we'll look at that too. Let's have at it. This should be, yeah, that's great. Let's start with the shades because I think that's the fun part. So let's drop this in here and I'll call this shades wrapper. And this one's going to be position absolute and it's going to cover the whole thing. And this is going to be flex vertical and I want it to stretch, so it's already set to that. And we'll have it start from the top, and I'm just going to start throwing some shades in there. So this will just have a class of shade, and it's going to have a width of 100%. And we'll set it to sizing to fill, and then we'll just start copy pasting them in. But let's go ahead and give this a, actually let's go ahead and, so that's 5 of them. So now we can see we've got 5 of them sitting in there. And we will set a gradient on there. This was like some sort of brownish color. We'll make it kind of dark. And then the bottom is similar but brighter for sure. Because the light's kind of coming through, right? So let's see. We'll just settle on that for now. It's way too brown, I feel like, but that is okay. So we can see we lost our text, so that's no good. Let's set this to relative and it pops up on front, so that's great. And then, so my idea is that the shade is going to, we're going to give it a scale transform, and let me unlock this by pressing that. And so this is going to kind of go from 1 to 0 and then back to 1 on our hover. So that is my idea, but we need a backlight. So we'll call this, I don't know, light. And notice I'm putting it above the shades wrapper because this is kind of like stacking context or stacking order. So the light, the text block will be on top of everything since that's position relative. it's on top of Shade's wrapper, which is on top of the light. So the light is the furthest in the back, and then you see the Shade's wrapper, and then you see the text block in front of that. And since Shade's wrapper has 5 children, those are all going to be behind the text as well. But right now we need to set the light to position absolute and cover and give it some sort of color. We're not going to be able to see this. So let's go ahead and just, actually let's, set the transform right now just to something intermediate. So I'll set it to whatever that was. Didn't even look. And the light needs a background color, so let's go ahead and do that. So yellow, kind of pretty whitish probably. You could probably do like a radial gradient, something to make it feel a little bit more like a light source. But let's start with that. I think the shades and the interaction are probably the most interesting. Hey, Nelson! Thank you so much for stopping by. Man, I feel like I made it when Nelson rolls in. Learned so much from you. Man, I'm nervous. Nelson dropping in. Ooh, all right. Nelson's probably speed building this on his own. That would be pretty funny. Okay, where was I? We got the light in the background, and we want to make some things happen. So right now, the other thing I want to get going is the glow effect. So let's go ahead and pop that in there. So we'll call this glow. Thanks, Nelson. Appreciate it. And this is going to be position absolute and cover the whole thing, but I want this to be larger than the space of the button. So I'm going to set this to something like 200% and 200% of the width and height. And then we'll just offset that using a transform. So if I do knock this to the left, -25%, and then up -25%, it's basically going to like sit on top of everything, but actually behind everything. So let's add in some color to that, and I'm going to make this, that was white. I want this kind of yellowish color. That's the one I want. And we're going to give this border radius, I don't know, 50 VW, sure. And then we'll blur it. It's going to need a lot more blur than that. Let's do, 120. It's already way too big, but that is okay. What if we set the height to 100? Yeah, I'm liking that. And then we don't need to have that -25. Set that to 0. And what else do we want to do here? Let's reset the shades because we know we have the light baked in the back there. I think this thing had some rounded corners. Yeah, it's actually pretty rounded. So let's go ahead and make those corners rounded. We'll start with 24 pixels. And I'm going to have to set overflow to hidden on that. 24 was too much. So we'll go to 16. I like that. And that is starting to look good. What happened to my glow? You know what? I set overflow to hidden, so my glow went away. So we know that we can't set overflow to hidden on our link block. Or we have to pull glow outside of the link block. So let me allow that, and we will actually put our, maybe on, let's do it on, we'll do it on shades wrapper and light. We'll set the, probably not ideal. I'd probably like to pull the glow out of the link block in this case, but for this I kind of want everything to be within all in one. So what did I say, 16 pixels here for the border radius, and we will hide, oops, not fit, we'll hide that. And we're gonna have to do the same for the light because we can see it peeking out. So set overflow to hide and border radius to 16 pixels, and that's starting to look better. Sweet. Let's set these shades back to where we want them. So I'm just going to option click that to remove. And we are missing the drawstring, so I need to put that on there. I don't know what else to call it. Let's call it the cord. Draw cord. Cord. So I'm going to have a wrap, and then I'm going to have, that's going to be flex, and I'm going to have 2 things inside of that. The line itself and the little nub end on the bottom. So we'll set that to flex vertical. And this is also going to be position absolute. Put it to the top right. And I don't know, something like, what did I do? I did it in EMs, I think. For the padding, let's do 1.5. That is looking good. And we'll set the height of this to, what's looking good? Something like that. Yeah, I like that. It's good that we removed overflow hidden from the link block too, because otherwise we would be cutting off our cord wrapper. So that ended up being a decent way to do it. So far, we will see. We'll just call this line, and the width is going to be something like 2 pixels. And we will have this thing. Now, when I animate it, I kind of want to, I'm trying to think of what I want to do as far as size goes. Let me just make this fill the space, and then the nub, or the nib, this will be, I'll hard code this one. So I think the line was 2 pixels, so that I'll make 8 pixels, and it'll be 16 pixels tall. And we need to give color and also center everything, so let's give it some color now. I'm gonna give this like a gradient. I think we really want this effect of light hitting stuff. So I'm just gonna pull the gradient right off the shades. And this is at the wrong angle, so we'll set this to 90. And it's also behind everything, so we need to make it on top, just like that, just dragging it down. We could use z-index as well, but I try to reserve in z-index for more complicated scenarios, I guess. And the nib is going to get the exact same sort of gradient. That one. And that one. Nelson, if you're still here, just curious what's up, what you're doing. How's things down in San Diego? If you're not, no worries. When's your next meetup? Okay, so where did I specify the position? It was down here. I want this back to 1. And let's give this some rounded corners at the top. So I'm going to press this one here so I can do it at the top like that. And that's starting to look kind of good. Okay, I'm feeling like the gradient should be in the opposite direction at this point. It's kind of being a little bit overkill, I think, because we want to get to the interaction. That's the fun part here. 55 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, San Diego. You know, San Francisco up here, it's just been beautiful. So as soon as I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to go outside and go for a run or a hike or something. Working on community stuff. Yeah, I saw you guys launched the Global Communities Leader thing today. It looks super cool. I want to apply, but I need to record a video. So once I'm done with the live stream, I'll record a video. I don't know if there is a Global Community Leader in San Francisco. I imagine it's just Emily. But yeah, I have met 1 or 2 other Webflowers who do live up here in San Francisco, so I need to organize something with them. Cool, let's move on to this interaction. So we got the link block selected here. I'm gonna come to interactions, and we're gonna do a mouse hover here. We'll call this open shade. And what I want to do is set the initial positions first. So the initial scale of this is going to be, I'm gonna unlink that, but we're gonna set the initial Y scale to 1, and we're gonna click this checkbox for set as initial state. And what else needs to be initial? So the color of the text is gonna go from white to black. So we will set the text color initial state as white. And then this thing's got to move too. So let's just do that by, I think we can take the cord wrap and adjust the sizing. So size, I think I have it at, what do I have it at now? 170%? Yeah. So we will keep the starting size at 170%, and then we'll just animate this thing. Which way does it go on hover? Let's have a look. When you hover, it comes down. There's even like a bounce effect there. Pretty neat. Dun dun dun. I don't know if I'm going to get that far into it. Anyways, but we will get it to move. So we got the size at 170. Jara's project. It's awesome. Cool. I haven't met Jara. Not sure who that is, but I will look that person up. And what else do we got? Okay, now let's do the animation. So we want our shade to scale to, let's see, dun 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 dun. Oh, we don't want to do that. We want this to, I'm going to option click that to get rid of it. I think, yeah, 0.1 makes sense. And then the cord wrap, we're going to change the size. What if we do 150%? Just like that. And the text color goes to black. You know what? We have to do the glow as well. So let me grab the glow. And the opacity will just start out at 0. And we will animate the opacity to, I guess, 100%. And what do we get? All right, it's taken shape, but it is too slow. So let's put this 0.2 and give it some easing, like out quint is what I usually like. Yes, that's looking dope. Let's see if we hover, but we need the hover out. Pronounced Yada. Thank you for correcting me. I have heard that name on probably your stream before. So let's duplicate our animation here. And I'm going to delete these. Nelson, this is for sure a technique I learned from you. And so this is no longer the initial state, but we want to keep that value. No longer the initial state. No longer the initial state. No longer the initial state. And let's drag them all on top of each other again. And I'm going to select all. 0.2 seconds. We'll do out quint for this one again. We should have something working. There it is. That's it. We're done. Nelson, thank you for stopping by. Is there anything else you want to see with the window shades button? You know what? Look, it's hovering within the glow effect there. That is not ideal. I should probably, maybe I can either set pointer events to none, or we can, what happens if I set that to -1? Yeah, now it's working. Sweet. All right, that wraps up the stream. Nelson, thank you for stopping by. If you want to build this thing, I will make it clonable. So whoever watches this in the future, enjoy. I thought this was a lot of fun, just a fun little project. So I had to do a stream on it. All right.